Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra has potentially just dropped their biggest mistake of a character yet. They have just released Dabura, who seems to be shaping up to be one of the most toxic units in the current batch of characters that we have access to. If you guys want to see what makes him so stupidly, obscenely atrocious to deal with, make sure to stay tuned and subscribe because we will be doing showcases when he comes out. Let's get into the breakdown. Alright guys, here we have Dabura's trailer. As usual, we'll go through his animations first and then we'll break down his kit. Let's see what they got cooking with this guy, man. Did take a quick sneak peek, and I don't think very many people are going to be happy with this guy. So they did decide to make him DPS, and there is his little Russian Ki Blast animation right there. His model looks pretty good. He has both his swords and I think his Ki Blast as well, because that is a crazy melee range to have. And then, of course, he has a petrified mechanic or a stun mechanic where he can potentially stun characters, which is what he does here. It's gonna be so annoying, man. It's gonna be so annoying. He has that little shot right there. It looks like they're slowed down, and then he petrified them immediately. Both of them petrified. And then he does his ultimate, which I think his ultimate is both the weakest and the most annoying and strongest part of his kit at the same time. It's very weird, but we'll go ahead and get into that once we get into the breakdown right here. So, Dabura, his role is damage. The concept with him is to stay close to your enemies with this hero, applying petrification to gain additional firepower, fill up the petrification gauge, and then unleash devastating damage. That is the concept that they decided to go with him, which does make sense. Obviously, that was Dabura's whole gimmick throughout the series, was that he used to spit on people and he used to petrify them and turn them to stone. So that's the concept that they did decide to go with, and you know, it makes sense. But in a fighting kind of way, that is one of the most annoying concepts you can give a character, is to make them a stun bot, because there's not very much you can do against a stun bot, which is why it's good that Oob has obviously the attack obstruction immunity. You can't stop him, which I'm assuming means you can't stun him. So hopefully that is how that works. But obviously that's only one character out of the roster. Every other character has to deal with this guy's stun mechanic, which is going to be very annoying, especially for frontline characters and tanks. It just completely disrupts your rhythm. But that being said, let's go ahead and look at his first passive skill here. It is Demon's Domain. Fill the petrification gauge of enemy heroes within a certain proximity. When their petrification gauge is full, you can use a rush attack to petrify them, stopping their movement and increasing their damage against them. The reason I think this is completely absurd is, one, you're doing it with a rush attack, which means that you don't have to use any sort of cooldown to get them into this. You just have to fill up the gauge, and then you can do it, and then you can do it again when they get out of it. The gauge, as we can see right here, when you get into their circle right here, once you're in Dabura's range, he has his gauge under you, and that gauge fills up slowly over time, but obviously he's going to have other ways to fill it up as well. And as you can see, as he's rush attacking, it's filling them up faster, which it does take quite a bit off with just rush attack, so it's not completely obscene. And then obviously once they're hit, that is when you get hit by this. And once you're in this stage, Dabura is going to be doing more damage to you as well, and there's nothing you can do to retaliate. The strength of that ability really depends on how strong that stun lasts, but in the sense of, like, let's say you're in a team fight and you get hit by that, you're probably dead. That's just how it goes. If you're getting hit by this stun, the entire enemy team is going to focus you, because what can you do? You can't retaliate. You can't use your abilities to make your, like, let's say you're a tank, right? Let's say you're Vegeta. You can't use any of your abilities to protect yourself. You can't use your dash to get away. You can't stun them. You can't do damage to them. You're just stuck there taking it. Like, they're just bending you over backwards, and you're getting Dabura spit in places where it should not be. All right? That's how that goes. That's essentially how this character is going to work out in the game. Now, his first skill is Doom's Ray. It blows up the target enemy. If this attack hits an enemy hero, it fills their petrification gauge. Now, it doesn't specify how much, but the way it's worded, it makes it seem like it fills it to full. The lower their petrification gauge is, the more petrification gauge is applied. So that obviously adds on to that. It doesn't max it out, but the lower it is, the more this applies. So you want to start your combo with this ability, because it'll apply the most petrification if they don't have any on them. So you want to start your combo with the Doom's Ray to make it to where you get the most value out of its further petrification. It also generates an aftershock ahead of you, activates quicker if used after a vanish step. So let's go and take a look at what that looks like here. So that is damn near half the petrification gauge from that. And then let's see if they show us like the flash step. So this is them already petrified. That is, wow. Wow, that is a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage, man. Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. I don't know if you guys can tell, but if you're stunned and you get hit by that, what do? You gonna cry to your mama? You gonna cry to your sister? Like, Dabura's just out here fucking, he's just going at you, bro. Like, what are you gonna do about it? Now, his second skill is Darkness Spear. He throws out spears that apply no vanishing steps, so you can't even run away from him to the enemy zeros to hit, and you get a movement speed up when approaching the enemy zero by the skill. This is what that looks like. First of all, this range is ridiculous. Like, what? That is ridiculous. Obviously, it can only hit 3 targets, but that is a ridiculous amount of range. And look at how fast Dabura is. You can't vanish away from this. You can't do anything. Like, this is all part of, like, him locking you down. He hits you with this, right? And then he gets in your range. Then he hits you with the first ability, the ray. That'll apply pretty much half the petrification. And then by that point, you can't run away. You can't do anything. You're just hit by it. It's over. You're stunned. It's gone. It's wraps. It's time to uninstall. Now his third skill, Evil Flame. Spits flames, applies movement speed down to enemies, even more disruption. Enemy heroes hit will also be afflicted with burning, and their petrification will be filled and can move in and adjust while using the skill as well. This is what that looks like right there. This is the burn effect. This is the first character to have a burn effect as well, I believe. And obviously this also is filling up the petrification gauge. So that is also something to keep in mind. So you want to do his first skill, which will apply the most petrification. Then you want to use that spit skill after you use the second skill to get in contact with them if you're not already in the contact. But you want to initiate with the second skill out of range because it has so much range. It'll apply the slowing, they can't vanish away. Then you get in range, use your first skill, apply as much petrification as you can. Then use a Spitfire so you apply the burning, and then you want to melee attack them. That's basically going to be the Dabura combo right there. And honestly, a lot of that you can do in AoE as well. So this, even as an AoE kind of situation, he doesn't look like he's going to be struggling. Now this is the one thing that I think is kind of weak in his kit. It's his ultimate ability, the Evil Blast. Unleash a powerful energy blast attack, fills the petrification gauge of enemy heroes on hit. So this is what that looks like. And obviously he has filled up petrification gauge, and you can go ahead and hit him with that and it'll, you know, petrify him. But I think the issue with this ability is the range on it. It's not that bad here, but in the trailer it looks a lot smaller. But I think here it's actually pretty good. But now that we're seeing like kind of the range on it, like this is how big the range is, this entire circle. I think now I would say it's actually kind of OP, because let's say you're in the middle of a team fight, you get hit by that, your entire team might just be ready to be stunned, right? And if you're stunning 4 characters at a time, you're cooked. Your entire team is stunned. You're taking out 1 character at a time. Petrified, dead, petrified, dead, petrified, dead. That's how that's gonna go. Pair this with a character like Trunks. You get petrified, Trunks jumps on you, you can't dodge, you can't move. That's it. You're dead. Trunks is one-shotting you. There's no coping, there's no anything. Trunks just comes in and one-shots you in that situation. So I think Dabura is going to be one of the most toxic, annoying characters, and he's probably going to be in every game because the utility he possesses is absolutely insane. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the most toxic character released in Gekishin Squadra to date. With that being said, this is Wisen, signing out.